Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Hello, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're working with some pretty things. So first off, we're working with the fairy journal, which I've started to fill with the ephemera and it's chunking up very, very nicely. And we are working with some glitzy bling, which is always my favourite to work with. So I'm trying something new, brand new, completely brand new to me. I'm sure it has been done plenty of times before. I've never done it. What we're doing is we're making a closure for the fairy journal. So I just want to tell you a little story. So normally with my closures, I tie some, ribbon or sari trim or lace or something as like a bow on the side. And I love doing that. It's easy, it's quick, it's removable, it looks good. The trouble is with this one is no matter what material I used, the closure, the bow here, just kept getting in the way of these cascading leaves and all of this stuff that we've got coming out of the pages. And the leaves were getting in the way of the closure were getting in the way of the leaves, and it was just, it was a big mess. So I was trying to think of something that would be more streamlined as a closure, take up less space, but still be beautiful. And in my most recent broken jewellery haul, I always buy broken jewellery so I can use the beads and bits and bobs. I received this bracelet. I don't know if you can see that. It's jingly jangly. It's all in blues and greens. And that completely inspired me. And I thought, what if that something like this was our closure? Now this one is in the wrong sort of colours. I want to use some of the green beads, but I don't want the blues and I don't want the silver quite as much. I want gold. So I had a look through my stash of broken jewellery bits, and I have what looks to be the ends of a necklace, possibly. We have a lobster clasp on one end, and we've got some nice strong chain ready to go. So here's what we're going to do. Turn this to the side. I've got a large jump ring, and that's what is going to hook onto the front eyelet. As I say, I've never done this. I'm completely making it up. So let's I'm going to get that on first, if I can. As I say, yeah, this is me playing it by just wing of my teeth, figuring it out. But I thought I would film the process in case it gives you some ideas, inspires you, or you can just have a laugh watching me fumble with intricate things. Okay, let's whoops, I'm just going to close up the jump ring because we don't need that open. That's just to give us something for the lobster clasp to hold on to. Oops. It's a very tough jump ring, but the great news about that is it will be, in theory, sturdy enough. There we go. Again, this is just in my stash, broken jewellery. It's amazing what hardware you can repurpose from your jewellery. Alright, I think that's on there. So that's going to hang off there. And we've got our lobster clasp. This is the bit that's going to be the bit that you open. So you hook off the lobster clasp to open the journal. So the other thing that I want to think about is how much chain we need, because I want it to obviously keep the book closed, but I want there to be enough room for it to grow. So I'm thinking I'll go from here, and we want to open up this jump ring on the actual chain. I'm sure there is easier ways to do this, but as I say, I'm just going to open that up as best I can with my trusty pliers. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And the great thing is with the chain is you can always add to it, can't you? So that will allow it to open up this much, which would technically be a gator mouth. So I'm fine with that. I don't want it to be, or am I fine with that? I don't want it to hang down really low either, because it's still going to get in the way of the leaves. So I'm going to take off a couple more just to be sure. So I've just swapped out that previous jump ring for a different one, just because I didn't have two of them and I wanted matching front and back. So I've got these. Again, I'm just using what I've got. It's just from Broken Jewellery. So I've got the chain to the right length that I want, and all it's a case of us doing is having jump rings on either side. So I want to get this jump ring on the back cover. I'm thinking this is going to look really great, but and it's good because I get to use some stuff that I just did not know what to do with as well. So these jump rings are very, very tough to close, is the only thing I will say. It may be much easier with circular rings, but once it's on there, it's on there. Okay, with sheer brute force, I've got it on there. And when we come to attach it, I'll just need to attach another jump ring to my chain, and then that can just clip onto the actual piece. But for now, we want to do the fun bit, which is to decorate it up. Okay, so as I say, I was kind of inspired by this bracelet. So I've got various beads and charms that I want to start attaching. I do want to take off a couple of these from the bracelet. And then it's just a case of us adding our bead dangles and charms to the chain, which in theory should be relatively easy. I do have a video on making bead dangles, in case you'd like to check that out as well. But for now, I'm just simply hooking on my beads and my charms with the jump rings, because these particular beads, they already have the loops on the top. As I say, I do have a video on doing them. And as I say, some of them came off of the bracelet that I was inspired by. So, and then, yeah, we're just going to have, whoops, a bunch of beads and charms hanging down. So I'm trying to do them, you know, relatively evenly. So I'm going to put this one towards the back. And I'm trying to stay clear a little bit of where the lobster clasp is and, you know, where things are going to be on the back, because I don't want it to get in the way of the book and, you know, opening up the closure type thing. So I'm just sort of like missing out a couple of jump rings. It might be that we want to add some later afterwards, but for now, I'm giving that a go. So I'd rather have to add more on rather than have to take them off. And I appreciate you probably can't see a huge amount, but as I say, I just wanted to record the process in case it's useful to some of you. Okay, so we've got two pretty beads on there. I do have these flowers that came off of, again, another broken bracelet actually. And I'm thinking, because it's flower fairies, we might want to use those. Of course, we've got a leaf. I quite like the leaf, seeing as it is a woodland journal. Let's have that one in there. Again, this is just from some jewellery. So yeah, I always look for broken jewellery in charity shops and on eBay. Haven't had as much luck with charity shops. I find that the jewellery isn't broken, and so they end up charging a little bit more for it actually. So what I tend to do is I search on eBay for broken jewellery job lot or something like that, or jewellery, or sometimes even just jewellery job lot. It doesn't have to be broken. And you often find that shops sell their broken jewellery, you know, because they can't resell it as necklaces or bracelets or what have you. But they know that crafters can use the stuff. So you can find the jewellery on there. Sometimes for a good price, not always, but sometimes. Got some iridescent beads. I might add those just for that little bit of sparkle. So yeah, this is what I mean by the bead dangles. They're on little stick pins that have loops at the top. I have made these, as I say, I do have a video on how I did it and what tools I used. What I tend to do now is when I have a free moment, I often just stock up on ready-made bead dangles that can be added to stuff like this, and you know, to sides of pages or what have you. It saves me sitting there as and when having to do it, you know. Oops. I'm just laying it out so I can be, I'm not trying to be even with it, but it's just I like symmetry. I do like symmetry. So yeah, I'm going with kind of symmetry. It's not really symmetry, but it's just I want there to be a good selection of things on here so that it's interesting and as blingy as possible without being over the top, you know. But yeah, this is what I came up with for the closure, and I've wanted to try it. I actually have a purple bracelet, a broken one that's sitting in my box of things, which I was going to use for the purple fairy journal, and I'm not ready to work on that one yet. I sort of I need a break from fairies after this one, but I will work on the purple journal probably in the new year or something, you know. And yeah, that bracelet is already ready to go. And then, as I say, that came through, and I thought, oh yeah, of course, I could do that. You know, just for that little bit of something different. And who doesn't love extra bling, you know? What shall we add? I've got a couple of pearls. I think I might add those. Yeah, let's have a couple of pearls. And all my jump rings are from jewellery. I have bought jump rings and bulb pins, but for the most part I just use what I've got. And it's a great way to upcycle. And as I say, you'd be so surprised what you can, you know, all the different parts of just like a bracelet or a necklace. Once you start taking it apart, there's just so much you can, so many little pieces that you can just, you know, get on and use for your journal bling. Hopefully you're a little bit better with jump rings than I am. As I say, this is not a tutorial, this is just me trying something and hoping it works and is a good idea. Or at least maybe not a good idea, but a different idea. An idea that looks cool, and obviously I still want it to be practical. But to be fair, the journal sits really nicely when it's closed. So the closure isn't really there to like hold it completely closed and all of that. It was more just the fact of I wanted it to, well, I'd put the eyelets in, to be honest, so I needed to have a closure. Just from the fact that I'd done that, not knowing I was going to have leaves cascading out, like that was a last minute decision. If I'd thought about that, I might not have put the eyelets in after all, because I might not have wanted a closure. At least with this, I can have some bling, which is never a bad thing, and I can have a closure that doesn't get in the way of my leaves and whatnot. Just unfortunately, I'm not so good with my hands, which is why not a tutorial. Okay, where are we at then? Oops. Just sort of seeing what we've got going on here. It's a little bit tricky to actually see when you're working on it. We have this going on. It's looking very much like a charm bracelet, really, isn't it? Which is the point. I mean, it was inspired by a bracelet, so I kind of feel like I want more on it. I've got this charm, which might be nice to use, and then I've got another iridescent one, or one with a gold. We'll go with the gold and the charm, and that will probably be the lot because I don't want to overdo it. And of course, I did think about those flowers, but the chain actually ended up being a lot shorter than I was expecting. You know, for the size journal that it is, and I suppose it's because we have the large jump rings on the side, which actually does surprisingly take up some of the space. I think that's what it is. So yeah, I appreciate this is not the most thrilling video to watch, but if it can give a couple of people some ideas, then that's fine by me, and all that. I just think sometimes it's helpful to see people's thought processes behind stuff like this. You know, even if you don't enjoy the actual like watching of how it's made, you know, because it's not very exciting or something, I don't know, but just the thought process of like, well, how did they decide what length of chain to use, and you know, other things that you can learn from them trying this idea out. And often I find that there is really a lot to be learned from just watching people, and you know, we're always inspired by like various different things. I mean, you know, I'm inspired by a bracelet to make a journal closure. So, you know, we can pick up inspiration from just so many places. You know, if we just keep an eye on what's out there, what's going on around us, anything can give us inspiration. Okay, right, just want to bring the journal in again because I want to see how it looks at this point, and then we can decide if we want more on it or not. So, as I say, I still need to add a jump ring to the back of it. But essentially we'd be like this. So yeah, can you see here? It's very different from seeing it on the desk versus in like up against it, where I don't know how much you can see, but can you see all the charms are towards the back end, and I'm sort of missing some here. I thought that was the right thing to do, but looking at it now, it's not. So I need to add some more on. but that's okay. We're going to add some more beads on it. I'm just going to keep that there because I'll need it again. So I think I will use a couple more of these green beads from this bracelet. And I'm probably going to pause the video there because you don't really need to see me doing them all, do you? I'm just going to put a couple on the front, and I'm going to ignore my symmetry idea just simply to do them, finish this off. Okay, so that's all of my beads and charms and what have you on it. So I've got the lobster clasp at the front, so that was always the part of the deal for unhooking it. As for the back and attaching it to the rings, now the jump rings from the chain are not big enough to go around these big jump rings at the front or at the back. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is add another lobster clasp to the back, and then that way if somebody did want to take it off for journaling, they could do so nice and easy, because you know sometimes chains and jewellery and bling can get in the way of projects, or maybe you don't want it to jingle quite as much, like, you know, if you're going to travel with it or something. So yeah, I'm thinking that way that will give whoever has this journal a little bit of freedom. And then of course they can always, you know, remove these jump rings completely if they wanted as well. But yeah, for just like, you know, short-term use, the lobster clasps might be nice and easy. Again, I'm just using what I've got, I'm not buying anything. Still from the lobster clasp, again, just for some jewellery. I try not to buy anything when it comes to jewellery making stuff because, you know, it's not every day that I do bead dangles and things like this. And yeah, there's just so much that you can repurpose from existing pieces. Oh, my fingers have gone to sleep using those tools. Let me just stand that up. There we go. Yeah, so I think it is a little bit longer than what I was expecting. So I think I might need to shorten it a bit, which is annoying because I've added all the charms. Because yeah, I don't want it to hang down like that. I like that it opens up, but again, I think it's too much of a gaping mouth. So all I'm going to do is simply remove a couple of links, and then jobs are good in, I think. So again, let me just pause whilst to do that, otherwise this video is going to be really long. I think we are good. So it's going to be really hard to show you, unfortunately. You might have to look at the thumbnail, or I'll put on my Instagram. But basically we've got a cascading charms as our closure. Now the jump rings are silver because again I was just using what I've got. So what I'll do is I'll just spray paint them gold. And as you can see, it does allow the journal room to grow. I've just been faffing around with what sort of size I wanted it, because although I want you to be able to, the journal to grow, I don't want this charm stuff hanging down really low because it was just getting in the way again. So I'm happy with that. That's how much it can grow by, and that's how much we currently are at. So when it's standing on a shelf, it's going to look really, really nice with these charms and beads and pretty things hanging down. Again, it's just adding to, yeah, the magical woodlandy type theme that we've got going on with this journal. So I'm happy with it. I like the idea. I will do it again for the right type of journal. Obviously it depends what kind of journal, and better yet, if you've already got the bracelet made, then that will save time, you know, from having to do these things. But no, I'm happy with it. It's unique and I'm happy. It's got the right amount of bling, I think, and yeah, got enough, it's got enough growth whilst stopping the journal from expanding. And as you can see, we haven't got any problems with, you know, things coming off. So I've done the jump rings correctly, which is good. Hopefully it will last anyway. Right, I will leave it there. I'm sorry if the video was a bit bleh, but I wanted to film it because, again, this might inspire some ideas for some of you. So yeah, that's that. We have a closure, much better than a great big bow on the side, and more glitz and glamour. And yeah, with this one, I'm still figuring out all of the sort of 3D stuff that we've got coming off. I feel like it needs a bit more, but I don't want to overdo it. So I think that has helped putting the closure on, because now I can sort of see what sort of, you know, how much more room we've got to play with and what have you. So I will leave it there. I hope that has inspired some ideas. If not, then I hope you enjoyed just seeing me faff about with the beads and intricate things, which is never my forte, but I am pleased with it. As I say, I will take a photo of it up close, put that on my Instagram so you can see all the different like beads and charms and things, because it is difficult to show you on video. I appreciate that. So yeah, check out my Instagram. You'll be able to see a post up, maybe not straight away, like, but in the next couple of days it will be on there. So come follow me and you'll be able to see that when it goes up. Thank you everyone. Thanks again for joining me. I hope that was helpful in some way, and I'll catch you on the next video. What do you reckon? Will we finish this month? I'm not convinced. There's still a lot of work to do, but I'm taking my time with it because this is the biggest journal I've ever worked on, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm prolonging my enjoyment. That is what I'm doing. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop faffing. There you are. Oh, you can see it there, look. You can see all the glitz, all the glamour. Love it. Definitely like the idea. As I say, it was inspired by this bracelet, which would also make a nice closure one day. Maybe a sea themed journal. I'm still talking, aren't I? It's because I enjoy talking to you. But I will say goodbye. Bye bye for now.